When we are aligned with God's will and purpose for our lives, we are catalyzed to spring forth. And that's not just a saying, that's a lived truth. Welcome back to SSQJ Chronicles, the space where Black empowerment, faith, and life intersects. I'm SSQJ, and I'm so glad you are here. This month, we are stepping into something intentional, something timely. We are talking about purpose and calling, what it means to truly spring forth into the life God designed specifically for you. I want to start right here, right now, with the foundation, discovering your God given purpose. April is not an accident. Spring is the season of new growth. Things that were dormant, buried, or waiting underground finally push through the soil and bloom. And that is exactly the energy I want us to carry this entire month. We are not just surviving. We are not just maintaining. We are springing forth with intention, with faith, and with clarity about who God called us to be. Over the next few weeks, we are going to and walk through this together. Week 1, we're going to discover your God-given purpose. We're going to be doing it this week. Week 2, the lessons hidden inside your life's milestones. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Week 3, overcoming the doubts and resistance that tries to keep you stuck. Ooh, that's good. Okay, let me stop. And week 4, taking bold and unapologetic steps forward. Because we ain't going to stay stuck. Okay, let's get into week 1. Let's start here with purpose, because you cannot spring forth if you don't know what you're springing forth. Okay, let's say it again. Because you cannot spring forth if you don't know what you're springing forth. Okay. Now I want to be real with you. When people talk about purpose, it can start to feel like this enormous, elusive thing. Like you're supposed to have this grand revelation one day and suddenly everything clicks into place. But that's not always how God works. For many of us, I would argue, especially for my Black women, for us, purpose has been into not revealed itself not in one single moment, but through a series of moments. Through the quiet nudges, through the doors that kept closing and the ones that kept swinging open, through the gifts people noticed in us long before we noticed them in ourselves. Discovering purpose is a practice. It involves 3 things: reflection, prayer, and discernment. Reflection. What is reflection? It is taking the time to actually look back at your life and ask, what has God been doing? Ooh, that's good. And what threads keep showing up? What threads and what patterns keep showing up? What breaks your heart and what lights you up? Now, the second one, prayer. Prayer is not just asking God to show you your purpose. But quieting yourself enough to actually hear the answer. Purpose is rarely loud, it whispers. I often say prayer is not you talking to God, and the show, not you talking at God, but prayer is talking with God. So not only do you talk to Him, but you talk back to Him. Prayer is not a monologue, it is a dialogue, it's a conversation. Okay? I ain't gonna get stuck into that. But and it's not just hearing the answering, but listening to the answer. Because there is a difference between listening and hearing. But okay, I said I'm gonna get stuck here. Let's get back to what I was saying. Quieting yourself enough to actually hear and listen and answer. Purpose is rarely loud. It is a whisper. And lastly, discernment. Learning to tell the difference between what you want and what others want for you and what God is actually calling you into. Those three things are not always the same. They're not always the same. Here's what alignment does not look like. It does not look like having everything figured out. I'm a witness to that. It does not look like a perfect, clear 5-year plan. It does not look like it. It does not look like ease every single day. Because you're going to have some difficult days. Let me tell you that right now. What alignment does look like is peace. Peace. Even in uncertainty. It's that quiet knowing that says, even when this is hard, I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Even when I don't see the full picture, I trust the one who does. Now, that type of peace, that's the peace that surpasses our understanding. Okay? Alignment shows up in your daily life when your gifts and your actions start pointing in the same direction. When what you do begins to reflect who God made you to be. And sometimes, alignment brings a momentum you can't fully explain. Doors open, connections happening, ideas flow, not because you're doing everything perfectly, but because you are in the right lane. It pays to be in your lane. You ain't gotta be in nobody else's lane because when you are in your goddamn lane. Okay, I can't stop. I can't stay there. Let's keep going. I got nowhere to go. I want to share something personal with you because I think it is important that this space never feels like a lecture. Because, baby, this, this not what it's giving. This is a conversation. This is community. There was a moment in my life where I realized I had been doing all the right things for all the wrong reasons, though. All the right things for the wrong reasons. I was busy. I was productive. By every external measure, I was moving forward. But inside, I was empty. Empty. I was pleasing others. I was trying to fit an image that others thought I should portray. And even in that, I failed. And failed miserably. Honey boo boo child, talking about failed miserably. Because I was not made in the image of people. We're going to talk about that more later on in the upcoming weeks. the more I tried to fit that image, the more unfitted I became. I wasn't. It wasn't until I got still. I mean, truly still. I mean, I stopped in the middle of my tracks, all the business, unaligned businesses and busyness, that God began to clarify what this was really supposed to be about. And it wasn't what I was expecting. Listen, when I tell you, not what I was expecting, baby. As far as as far as east is from the west, as far as the north is from the south, I wasn't expecting it. And what I know now is this: alignment does not always announce itself with a trumpet. Sometimes it shows up in a whisper. Sometimes it shows up in a closed door. Let me tell you, in hindsight, that closed door was protection. Yeah. I also want to name something that doesn't get said enough in conversations about purpose and calling. And that is the particular weight that Black women carry when we try to step into ours. We have been socialized to pour out, to be the backbone, to show up for everyone else. While our own calling sits on the back burner. We are told often in subtle and not so subtle ways that our purpose is to serve, not to lead, to support and not to pioneer. But scripture doesn't say that. History doesn't say that. And I refuse to say that. Stacey Abrams did not let a stubborn election silence her purpose. She built an entire movement from the lost. Jasmine did not wait for permission to be bold. She stepped into every room with conviction, spoke truth to power without apology, and reminded us that purpose doesn't shrink in the face of opposition. They move. They move in faith, in resistance sometimes, but they move. And I have to pause here and name something that weighed heavy on my heart when it occurred. Because this is a safe space. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it real. Keep it a $1.50. Jasmine Crockett lost a primary race for U.S. Senate in Texas a couple of months ago. And when I say she was qualified, baby, I mean she was more than qualified. Brilliant, bold, proven, a Black woman who had already demonstrated exactly what principled, fearless leadership looks like. And she still lost. This is the sobering reality of what it means to exist at the intersection of being Black and being a woman in this country. Overqualified and still overlooked. But this is not new. Black women have been the most educated, the most committed, the most faithful in their workplace, in their communities, in their churches, and their political movements and have still been passed over, pushed aside, and underestimated over and over again. You got Kamala Harris, Sherry Chill, so many more. But here is what I need you to hear. And I need you to receive this. The world overlooking you does not mean God has overlooked you. Let me say that again, because that was good to me, and I need you to let that soak in and let it settle in your spirit. The world overlooking you does not mean God has overlooked you. Your purpose is not contingent on who recognizes it. Your calling does not require the validation of a ballot, a boardroom, or a boss who cannot see what God has already ordained. Jasmine Crockett's purpose did not begin or end with their race, with their election. And yours does not begin or end with whatever door just closed in your face. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not too much, and or you're not enough. You are exactly who God called you to be. Let me say that again. You are not behind. You are not qualified. You are not too much or not enough. You are exactly who God made you to be. And that is more than sufficient. Your purpose is not smaller because of your blackness. Your purpose is not smaller because of your blackness. Your calling is not less valid because of your womanhood. In fact, the intersection of who you are is precisely what makes your voice necessary. Okay? So before we close out today, I want to leave you with something to sit with this week. Not just to think about, but to actually see it. Where in your life are you aligned or misaligned with God's calling? And one step, what is one step you can take to move closer to it? Write it down, pray over it, talk to God about it, and if you feel led, drop it in the comments. This is a community, and we grow and develop together. Okay? I am so grateful you spent this time with me today. I'm so grateful. I don't take it lightly. This is just the beginning of what I believe is going to be a transformative month for us all. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming in week 2, 3, and 4 of our April series. And most importantly, do the work. Don't just consume, but apply. Because purpose without action is just potential. And you were not made to sit on your potential. And this has been another SSQJ Chronicle. See you next week.